Hello, everyone. Thank you so much again for having us here for another workshop series on finding and developing a research topic. This seminar was supported by NSF Research Coordination Network in Undergraduate Biology Education, RCNUB program. So I'm Hamid Reza Sharifan, Assistant Professor at the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at University of Texas at El Paso. You can go by Hamid as a short name, or my full name is Hamid Reza Sharifan. So I recently joined the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at University of Texas in El Paso. Before that, I have been for 2 years assistant professor at Albany State University, Department of Natural Science. So I have done a variety of research that this topic is one of my interesting topic that I'm going to present today. I hope we can get some take-home messages from today's workshop. So finding and developing a research topic, it's the first step in any research that we want to do that. So we're gonna go through some tips that will help us to develop or find the best topic that we're gonna research on. So a successful research project always starts with a good research topic, So this always depends to many factors. We're going to review some of the factors that would help us to develop and find a good topic for our research and how you can decide to what to pick for the research. So the first thing to do is read your assignment carefully. So it means like, where are you really applying? How long does it have to be this project? So it should be for 1 semester, 6 months, 1 year, summer project, 2 weeks. So it all depends your research project, how long it needs to be done, or in like a time frame that has been given to you or you selected to perform this research, how long you can perform this regarding to all resources that would be available to you, and how many sources will you need it. Do you have enough equipment to do that? Do you have enough RA or TA to help you for performing your research, or a lot of human resources that they can help you with this project? So, or any of your topic is off limits. So, because imagine that you select one topic that would not be supported for any other proposal call, or you want to eventually find a preliminary research for NSF or NIH or Department of Defense, USDA. So it should not be really off limits, and you have to always choose your research idea or research topic that would be interested for many funding agencies. But most of college researchers is persuasive and argumentative writing. So there is not really border between them, and sometimes they are combining. Sometimes you follow argumentative as of in following the persuasive, or persuasive comes after argumentative. So I give you one example, persuasive and argumentative topics. So this type of research has a clear purpose, taking a stance and supporting it with high quality evidence. For either of you selecting persuasive or argumentative, depending on your current project or past project or a new project or just opinion that you are selecting. So argumentative essay, they are writing towards convincing the reader that your research idea is true. So it means like you are dealing with some readers that may not have really background about your idea, and you want to convince them, or it's a very totally novel project. So this genre of writing is used to defend or prove your point. So it means it's pretty novel and you believe on that. Not many people are believing on that, or you are dealing with some audience or readers that you really need to convince them about that product that you are producing as a research. So for example, nanoparticle impact on production of secondary metabolites in medicinal plants. So not many people, they are believing on that, or they think that would be impactful. So you have to provide a lot of evidence and say, oh, this happens on the roots or cells or leaves that can cause the secondary productions on plants and relating plants to medicinal plants. So another one is persuasive essay. In this persuasive essay, or in this type of writing, The author's attempt is to convince the reader to agree with their research idea. Sometimes it's still the same thing, that you all have a conflicting of idea, or many people, they have different backgrounds, so they are hard to accept the other idea. So you want to make them agree with your research idea related to what has been done in the past. So this in general, this genre of writing, the researcher, they use their own idea and opinion to evoke the emotion in order to convince them to agree with their opinion. For example, alteration of secondary metabolites production due to potential cellular disruptions. So there you don't have really direct evidence. So you have to bring a lot of supporting evidence to to prove that your idea of alteration secondary metabolites maybe comes from DNA disruption in the cells. So there are some key steps in choosing a good research topic when we want to really select our topic. The first one is like we select a broad topic of interest, not so broad like okay, biology challenges, cellular biology challenges. For example, this is extra broad. So you have to find what is your interest research area, then from their broad research topic, so you have to narrow it down. So we don't want to go also too narrow. We're going to talk about not too narrow, that would not be really effective, just right enough. But narrowing down your research is also very relative to your readers, to people who want to read your research, or those who want to fund your research. So you have to see if you can find enough or a document to make it just right as a narrow topic. For example, you can see the broad topic of swimming pool contamination. There are millions of publications, idea on reports on swimming pool contaminations, but you are a researcher, you want to focus on a specific topic. So you have to see on incorporative factors in your broad topics. So you don't need really to do extraordinary work to have innovative and creative research. Just changing certain element that has not been researched on, you can make your own research and make it enough creative and innovative. For example, look at what are the variables in the swimming pool contaminations, type of contaminants. So what type of contaminant do we have? We have a variety of contaminants, from human body to sunscreen to other cosmetics, airborne contaminants, bacteria. So a lot of the contaminant we have. That also will affect water quality. So water quality must to be measured in a regular swimming pool. Number of people, age, gender, they can be also variable factor that you can analyze. Biological elements that enter to the water from human bodies or from bacteria, that would be another variable. So what can be considered as independent factor? So independent factor depends, in this case, can be variable in comparable studies. So a standard disinfection level, that state by state is different, indoor by outdoor is different, hot tub from regular swimming pool is different. So water content, how much it should be water, the minimum, maximum water content, type of the pool is indoor, outdoor, is jacuzzi, is a children's swimming pool, is also different. So we can give you an example that has been really led to research and published. For example, swimming pool contaminations, you can concentrate on cosmetic contamination in swimming pool. You can narrow down also cosmetic to sunscreen contamination in swimming pool. Sunscreen can be changed or reported to UV blockers or UV filters done in the contamination swimming pool. So fate and transport of UV filters, another topic. You can make it more interesting on transformation and toxicity studies of UV filters. And UV filters, we have variety of UV filters. We can just focus on one molecules of UV filters in the swimming pool. This is one of the papers that just published recently, is 2023, Transformation and Toxicity Studies of UV Filter, diethyl amino hydroxybenzyl hexylbenzonate in the swimming pool. So this is another research topic that I have published it as a case report. So in this case, I have added UV filter interactions in chlorinated swimming pool, but I added children's swimming pool to highlight it. So what factors I have highlighted here? I have highlighted interactions of UV filters in general with the children. So I brought priority of children health in the swimming pool. So that made my case very important for readers, because everybody is caring about children. Many people, they have children, so it's the health of children is very important. So those hot topics that relate to human health, animal health, and food safety, they are very, very important. And many researchers in biology, they are trying to connect their work to human health, human food safety, to make their research more important, more related to many researchers that can be funded. So where you can search for your research topic. There are many places you can find idea or broad topic about your research. It could be news sources, magazines, course material, conversation with your friend, colleagues, researchers, supervisor, professional colleagues, or those people who are working in industry, that they know the gap of knowledge, they know the customer demands. For example, if you are working on plant biology, you can ask, what is the issue recently happening with farmers, and communicate with them, see what are the gap of knowledge that we don't know in the literature, and pretty much is out there and nobody knows about it. So library, Google Scholar, and many other sources that will help you to look for a broad research topic and help you to narrow it down to what you are interested in. So there are many databases that also helps you along with your internet search. So there are a few library databases that are ideal for exploring to explore an idea of interest, and they also allow you to get a jump start on your research at the same time. So for example, if you can go CQ Researchers or Credo or Opposite Viewpoint, they are like a database. You can just search your keywords there, and you will see the infinite limit of database will pop up, including journals, articles, books, a lot of things that happen that will pop up. You can make a summary of all research topic, what are interested, what can be related to each other, and what dates has been published, those articles. So this database allow you to browse or search for a topic of interest, read the background information on the specific issues that maybe caught your attention, reference sources. You can see what are those reference sources that has been mentioning about those things. Are they reliable sources or just white papers? So sometimes the white paper, they bring up some good issue that has not been researched. Also, sometimes it's not financially possible to do those researches, but at least you can get some impression of those researches, news, journal articles, and many more that will help you to develop your research. We have a lot of different type of journal articles that also very, very helpful for finding the best research topic or a good research topic. We have some journals, they are accepting some sort of article to publish as an opinion or communications or case report. Opinions, as you may know or guess from the name of the journal articles, opinions, just opinion, but to publish also opinion, they have to bring a lot of different evidence to convince people or an editor-in-chief that, okay, this opinion is happening or is some concerning issues that has not been researched on, that can be new topic to be researched. So opinions also one type of article. You can always read the opinion. They are really great articles to come up to find a good research topic. Communications, usually they are concise materials, scientific report of novel original research. In the journals, usually they report some initial research data or finding, some research that they just find some novel research that they just want to bring up their issue that has about their finding, they will publish as a communication. It means like they are communicating their research. So those are also very novel and new topics that you can find your research topic that has high chance to be funded or to be published, because similar things has been already published and has been communicated in research. The other thing is like a case report. For example, my last paper, I haven't done really research, but I have provided enough evidence as a persuasive and argumentative case that I have published in Environmental Research Journal as a case report that has not been investigated. I'm not sure if so far has anybody investigated on children's swimming pool that is chlorinated, that high concentration of chlorine exists, and high concentrations of UV filter will be released depending on number of children that go to swim in a small volume of water. So these are some sort of databases. So these databases and articles present different side of complex issues. What that means? So all of them, they have some contradicting material, some discrepancy between the information. So what is important is just to be open to what you find. You already believe some of the research topic or research idea you have already done. So just be open to many other research that you find. So you will not learn much if you only look at the sources that validate pre-existing beliefs. So those material that already believed to be existed, and many people have been published paper on that and trying to convince people that, oh, that pretty much existed and it's not something against that. So, but you do learn when you are open to new idea and new knowledge. For example, many people are against applications of nanoparticles in agriculture. They say, okay, nanoparticles, they cause toxicity and they would damage plant production or agriculture, cause agricultural loss. But there's many researchers that they did a lot of new and novel research on applications of nanotechnology or impact of nanoparticles on reducing contaminants. So they look at different aspects. They say, okay, if nanoparticles, even accidental or intentionally, would be released to the soil, can immobilize concentrations of heavy metals, and they reduce the bioavailability of heavy metal for the crops. So just be open to the new idea and sometimes go search and see if everybody thinks on one way, can any case would be on the other way, that it would be a novel and many people would be interested to look at it. Some useful tip when you search in the literature. Use the keywords. It's very important to use the keywords. Keywords not exactly what you think about it. Sometimes use the synonym of those words, or sometimes search those synonym also in the Google, see what other keywords will happen and will pop up. So those keywords are very important. So reformulate phrases and use the synonym. It's very important when you are searching the topic. Sometimes you want to make a connection or understand what research has been published in connection between A to B. So you have to sometimes reformulate your phrases and to see what will pop up in your engine search. So keyword of your research and other research is very important. That will help you to reformulate your phrases and develop your applied keyword. Search based on the dates. So for example, if you go to any database resources, or for example, Google Scholar, you can see what has been published to any time or last 5 years or since 2009 or all 2023. So those are very important. It can tell you the focus of research on that year. What are the priority of importance? Sometimes you can see the old research and you see, or what they have done, what they are doing now, if there any gap between that, or if there anything that can relate the old research with the new research and you can bring the new idea. Those are also very important. When you read the research articles, if you don't have time to read the whole articles, see what is the topic and go read that these discussions, very important in each research article, and their conclusions that always bring the new idea for you for the research. Because sometimes they always suggest what need to be researched on. So for example, if you go to one of the new articles in 2023, they're always recommending, oh, what has not been researched on, what is their plan to research. So that part of conclusion. That's also very critical. That gives you a good idea to do a research. So when you are looking at a potential topic, what should you learn about that topic? As you browse this database, ask yourself 5 different questions. The first one is who. Who means which group of people are interested in your topic? Who are your audience? Are the parents, or particular organization, students, governments, if they are parents of African Americans, if they are parents of Hispanics. So they can be also narrowed down based on your audience. Who are you? Those people that you are targeting in your research, who specifically will you focus on? Another question is what? What are the most critical issues in the field? Some of them are still ongoing, the hot topics, and for example, the Department of Defense are funding a lot of research on PFAS in past 10 years. And so it's still, there are a lot of funds available. What are the important topics that you can research that NIH will support them? So these are also very important, that what are the most critical issue in the field that you are interested and you can focus on? What are the different factors involved in that topics? For example, I gave you an example of swimming pool, that all the factors would be important. So another important question is where. Where is the topic relevant? So where you can connect your topics. Where is the location of your research? Will you focus on the United States, Florida, globally, locally, developing countries? So it's very important where this research is focusing on, where is happening, where you are conducting your research. So those are also very important if you are doing comparison between United States and Middle Eastern countries or Latin American countries. So this is also very important. So, but all relates to also the time. When did situation or event started? Is it still ongoing issue, or the time is over, expired, and nobody's interested in that topic? For example, if a train accident happened and a lot of contaminant has been released to the environment 10 years ago, is it still valid? Those contaminants are persistent or they are already degraded. So this is like an old issue. You cannot research on it. How recent are your sources to be helpful? So some of the resources are really outdated and nobody believe on that, because there have been a lot of research after that and people has changed their understanding of what was the real fact about those issues. They are not really anymore the fiction, they are just a real science, because science is developing gradually, incrementally. So some other materials that are very old, maybe they are already expired, or they have been done with very outdated instruments that the instrument did not bring really good information at that time. So why is also very important. What interests you about this topic? Why they are very important to you? Why do you like to research on those topics? And this is also very important, that why you want to research on it, that makes you feel satisfied and happy with the research that you are doing and what you are accomplishing eventually, that make your audience happy. So why you are doing that research. So when you are cooking a good research questions, your research questions must be answerable, must be narrow enough to be covered sufficiently in the required number of pages. So you cannot have a really broad topic. It should be broad enough that you can find the information, but somewhere just right between too narrow and too broad. But this concept is also very relative to your audience and to the knowledge of people who are reading your work and yourself and whatever has been published in the literature. So it would be abstract enough to require analysis. So your good research topic should be focused, feasible, measurable, relevant, creative, innovative, and many other factors that you can communicate your research. So bad research questions are trivia questions like a multiple choice question, everybody knows the answers. So when the Civil War started, what year Civil War started, also when revolution of Iran happened. So those are topics that is kind of multiple question. Everybody knows the answer. Some answers like it's with a quick yes and no. Some people, they invest a lot of time in research. I have seen a lot of research that has been done. Okay, they said, okay, COVID-19 has impact on human health or something like that, that everybody knows you. They spend so much money to eventually come up with some easy answer questions. So answerable within 5 minutes, search on Google, it's not really good topic. So if you are, when you want to really do research on something that people can just Google in, and in few articles, they can say, okay, this is kind of already done and everybody knows about it. So I'm asking for an opinion that cannot be supported by any argument, evidence, or research that has been previously done. It's not really good research idea. You must have something that you can defend in your proposal, that this research is really good and it is doable within the time and resources. So I have some practice for you to guess, are these good research questions or not? Where did the Civil War start? Why did the Civil War start? So these are pretty common questions. Where did the Civil War start? They cannot be really good questions. Or why did the Civil War start? Or who had the best looking uniform in the Civil War? So do you think these are really good questions? Or we can reformulate these questions and make it to the better questions that caught the attentions of many reader and audience for this research. So let's see one of them, like who had the best looking uniform in the Civil War? Is it a good really question? No, it can be answered within a quick Google search and has a definite answer. It is not an interesting question, but of course you can change to an interesting research topic. It's too broad to be covered in a college paper. Entire books have been written on this subject, and even they cannot be fully answering this question. So let's practice to fixing some bad research questions to a better research question. For example, why did the Civil War start? So how did the Mexican-American War lead to a subsequent Civil War? So this can be great transformations of these bad research questions of why did the Civil War start? So you can really transform it to very much better questions that can lead to a lot of factors that you can investigate it, and it's not too broad and it's not too narrow that you can accomplish it. But I say these are all related. So depending on the audience. So these are just some general examples. Who had the best looking uniform during the Civil War? Which army's uniform were better suited for fighting in the Civil War? So this another transformations of what was the best uniform to which army's uniform were the better suited for fighting in the Civil War. So you can always change your basic questions that can be answered within 5 minutes search in Google to another research questions that would be more interesting and will involve some factors that will be doable research for you, and you can accomplish in the time frame that has been given or is projected to be done. So it is important things that I will discuss with you. You do not want a topic that is so broad. So we discussed it a lot. This one, if it's so broad, you cannot make an effective argument because there are so much information over there and you cannot really make an argument about these topics. Or it's too narrow that you cannot find any published information to bring to the table as evidence to support your argument or your research idea or convince other people to agree with your research idea. So let's look at some more example of this topic that you want to look on just right. Just right in broadness of your topic. So if you say, for example, these are general things. If you say reality TV, it's too broad. If you say argument about race in the show of Big Brother in 2013, so it's too narrow. So the just right is reality TV shows and portrayal of African-American women. And it's too broad. Again, another example, bullying. Successful bullying prevention progress in elementary school is just right. But if you go too narrow, consequence and preventions of bullying in elementary school in Montgomery County, it's too narrow. It maybe just would be interested for people who live in the county, not really for bigger audience. So it might be just right for those people, not really more than that scale. So depends where you are targeting. So to be just right, it's also very relative to your who you are targeting, where you are targeting. So these were just some of the tips for finding a good research topic. And I just want to say thank you for your time being with me today. I appreciate. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email at sharifan@utep.edu. So you can Google me. You can find a lot. I have several different email addresses at sharifan@gmail.com, at sharifan@tamu.edu. So I would be available to answer your question. Thank you so much again for having me today.